Hello and welcome to Sunday SmackTalk. I am your host, the professional psychopath, your resident marksman, #future WWE champion, TJT. And today I'm going to be talking about Backlash, giving you my predictions, giving my thoughts on the matches, etc., etc. I'm also going to be covering the recent WWE release of Alberto Del Rio before we get into that, as well as the seemingly inevitable release of Paige very soon. I'll be talking about that whole drama, that whole situation here. But first, I think we have to get the elephant out of the room. There is one headline that is running rampant right now all over social media, and that is UFC 203 CM Punk versus Mickey Gall. And I don't want to talk about this for too long. Well, because first off, I think I'm going to get heated. But another reason I don't want to talk about this long is because for some people it just sparks debate. It's a talking point. It's not really controversial, but some people are just very steadfast. They have their opinion. They're very stubborn about it on both sides. So I don't want to talk about it too long, but I will go ahead and put my 2 cents into this ever revolving door of debate. Because seemingly since CM Punk left WWE 2 years ago, that in and of itself has been its own controversial topic, its own hot button topic. Should he have left? Should he have stayed? Did he quit? Did he get fired? He said, she said, hearsay all around. It's been its own thing in and of itself. And then when CM Punk said, hey, I'm going to do UFC now, that's pretty much when the rest of the floodgates opened. And, there have been people on kind of all different sides now. It's not even just, pro CM Punk, against CM Punk. It's not even WWE versus UFC. There are a couple different camps. There are camps that are for CM Punk and for WWE. There are camps that are for CM Punk against WWE. There are camps that are against UFC for Punk. There's all different kind of camps. Basically, what I just want to address is this seemingly never-ending debate right now, for whatever reason. And it's not even a debate. It's just a differing of opinion over fact. And basically, it's UFC fans hating on Punk for even stepping into the octagon, for even daring to enter the octagon and train for 2 years. And what, you think you're just gonna take on Mickey Gall? And who do you think you are? You're disrespecting the business, and you're disrespecting the mixed martial artists. And I just don't get it. I just don't understand. I don't understand how... I've never once heard CM Punk claim that he's just going to come in and wreck everything. I never once heard him say he's definitely going to win his first fight. The only thing I've really heard CM Punk say is that this is what I want to do. I know it's crazy. You have to be a little crazy to do the things that you want to do, and I want to do this, and I'm probably going to lose. I just don't understand how people can get so upset over this. I don't understand why. This is just a guy who had a good job, making good money, was adored by millions, I'll say. But it wasn't what he wanted to do. It no longer became what he wanted to do. So he left, quit, got fired, however you want to put it. He left. As controversial as it was, it was his decision to go. He did not want to do it anymore, at least not under the circumstances that he was being forced to do it. And there was this one other thing that he wanted to do, so he said, you know what? You only live once, no regrets, let's just go do it. And basically the way I see it is that, he was doing something for a lot of money. He was hurt, he was tired, he was beat up, and he no longer had a passion for it. So why not make a lot of money, still possibly definitely get hurt, but at least you like doing what you're doing. At least you have a passion for this. And one of the first things out of his mouth after the match, even after he lost, was that, this is what I want to do. I'm really happy. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. And I don't know how you just kind of basically crap on that. I don't know how you can overlook all these things and just go, oh, he's disrespecting, blah, 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 blah. And I'm glad he got knocked out, or, knocked on his ass. And, and just, he needs to be humbled. I don't get why people say he needs to be humbled. Like somehow following your dream means you have a big ego. Like, I'm sorry that CM Punk is CM Punk and that he's already a celebrity and he's already an established star. And when you have an established star come into something like UFC, they're gonna promote you because you give them money just by showing up. I mean, the guy trained for 2 years. I don't know what to tell you. It's not like he waltzed in and said, you know what, I'm just gonna step into the octagon and win everything, and I'm not even gonna try. Like, he tried. He put in his time. He clearly committed to it, and he's continuing to commit to it. Now, whether or not Dana White lets him fight again, whether or not he fights another fight in UFC, whether he, has to now fight somewhere else, whether he wants to fight somewhere else, I don't know. But this is just the thing that I want to bring up, is that how, for whatever reason, people are just they're stubborn. They're stuck on, I'm glad he got what was coming to him. I'm glad he got humbled. I'm glad that he got beat like we knew he was going to get beat. Well, first off, you don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, this is a fight. I mean, things happen. Everyone thought, Brock Lesnar lost his first fight. And I'm sure everyone back then was like, okay, we called it. But then he goes on to become the champion of UFC. Like, things happen. And it's not just when it's scripted, Fights are truly unpredictable. Was there a big chance of CM Punk winning? No. But there's always a chance, especially when you have gone through the training. The whole situation is just so weird to me, and it's made me really kind of realize that as much as I have my own issues with WWE fans, smart fans, I have to give them credit for at least not being like the way I've seen countless UFC fans act on social media, because it's brutal. Like, looking at this stuff, they want CM Punk to just be massacred for doing the thing that he just wants to do. This is just something that he wants to do. Let him be. It's him saying, I know this is crazy. And I know it's going to hurt. And I know it's going to suck sometimes. But this is what I want to do. And he's earned a lot of people's respect. He's had my respect since day one. He didn't need to prove anything else to me. And you can call me a CM Punk mark or whatever you like. But I mean, I've never really had a problem with CM Punk. I think he's a dude that speaks his mind and doesn't care how anyone feels about it, because that's not his business. And I have to respect that, just objectively. I may not agree with every single thing he says. He's said things that I went, oh, okay, maybe you shouldn't have said that. But that's my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter to CM Punk. And that's not to say that CM Punk has a big head. CM Punk has his priorities straight. He knows that this is his life. If he wants to do something, he doesn't care what people online that he's never met before, that have nothing to do with him, have to say. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. I may not agree with the things that he says every single time he opens his mouth, but I have to respect that CM Punk's going to do what CM Punk wants to do. Period. And what CM Punk wants to do is fight in the UFC. Again, whether or not they let him fight in the UFC is another story. but he's had my respect since day one. He's earned a lot more people's respect. If anyone is still stubborn and doesn't want to say, if they still want to be in the camp of, forget CM Punk, he's a punk. Ooh, clever. I've seen so many people say, he needs to get beat like the punk he is. I'm like, oh, because you're definitely the first person to ever use that comment in terms of CM Punk. Okay. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm not going to say on it any longer because it is still a kind of hot button topic. I'm going to move right along here to another hot button topic that I'm also not... This is a different story in which I'm just not going to really talk that much about it because I feel like we're not getting 100% of every side of the story. So that's the only reason I don't want to get too into the Alberto Del Rio Paige fiasco with WWE. It's just because there's a lot of stuff that may be gray that we may not be privy to. There's just a lot of variables here. From what I've seen and heard, strictly from what I've seen and heard, the very limited information that I have, it seems as though Alberto Del Rio and Paige have a very valid reason to leave, to want to leave, and in my opinion, WWE is missing out on both of these talents. Basically, from what I understand, the skinny is that Alberto Del Rio and Paige are dating. I'm pretty sure that's basically confirmed. Yes, they're dating. WWE didn't like that for whatever reason, and so they talked to them individually, trying to get them to break up, which doesn't make sense because countless couples have come and gone through WWE. There are couples there now. There are couples they promote in WWE within the ranks. So for whatever reason, WWE didn't like this particular pairing and went to them individually to say basically, hey, knock it off. They also split them up in the draft, which apparently from a backstage report was very deliberate of trying to just split them up for whatever reason. And call it coincidence, call it on purpose. They were then suspended. Paige had already had an injury. And then Alberto Del Rio asked for his release. Reportedly, Paige has asked for her release and is getting a lawyer to represent her. And honestly, here's my take on it. Here is my 2 cents on this as well. You can go ahead and assume that this is because of their relationship and that's why they're leaving. I think it doesn't help, and it's maybe even the main reason, but I don't think it's the only reason, not by far, because these are two of the most misused talents on the roster in recent memory. These are two of the most underutilized talents on the roster in recent memory. I'll start first on Alberto Del Rio because I'm not that passionate about it. I'll get to Paige in a second. But Alberto Del Rio is a former champion, a former world champion. He's one of the best workers they have. I think they did him a royal disservice in having him basically ditch Ricardo. I think that was his name, right? Yeah. I'm almost sure, but I'm kind of blanking a little bit. His ring announcer, because I thought that was a good gimmick. They tried to pair him with Zeb Coulter, which is weird. They stuck him with League of Nations, which that didn't have to be bad. They just didn't know what to do with it. And I think they were hesitant. They were hesitant to pull the trigger on another big stable. That's another thing that's been missing from WWE. When's the last time we had like a really big stable that was actually a big deal? The Shield? Was that like the last high-profile stable we had? Well, I guess technically the Authority. But, Because, I mean, the League of Nations could have been really smart. It could have been really great to have a group of foreign heels if you go ahead and pull the trigger and commit to them, and you put some gold around their waist, and you legitimize them, because that's kind of how they legitimized Evolution. They just kind of gave all of them the titles. In addition to, obviously having Flair and Triple H on the stable doesn't hurt. I mean, I felt like they were too dead set on having Roman being pushed, that they didn't push League of Nations at all. They made them all seem weak. It became a weird kind of comedy-esque thing at one point. But honestly, that had a lot of potential. And that's just the case with Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio had a lot of potential to be either a good face, an even better heel, in my opinion, of just like an old-fashioned, hard-hitting, stiff heel. I don't know why he couldn't have been like straight like mid-card or even upper mid-card, and then every now and again he gets back into the main event, but not really. He could have had great programs with guys like Cesaro and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and I just think they dropped the ball with him. And so those are very legitimate gripes to have, in that this is a very talented guy. Does he need to be fantastic on the microphone? No, but it fits his gimmick. He's, a foreign heel. He doesn't really need to talk that much on the microphone. He does his actions in the ring, and, he can be a hard-nosed, grizzled veteran. I don't know. There are a lot of opportunities that WWE just didn't pick up on, and the creative team seems to just be a common thread for a lot of things that are going on right now. WWE has a serious problem with their creative team, and I think very slowly some things are starting to change. I was very vocal about how much I liked how Raw's been the last 2 weeks, and how complex and layered things are, and how unpredictable it's been. If you want to hear my comments about that, check out my SVR podcast from last week. And SVR podcasts come out every Wednesday now. Hashtag shameless plug is shameless. But really the thing that really pisses me off is the Paige situation. Because are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Paige, the one diva that should have been the most in the spotlight in the Divas Revolution, when they then started going to women's wrestling, the one woman that started it all with Emma in NXT, the first ever NXT Women's Champion. This is the woman I was most excited to see on the main roster when she was called up. This is the one woman that really needed to be in the center of the women's revolution, along with, Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Becky and all of them. And what happened? She had a title match against Charlotte. She mentioned Charlotte's dead brother. They didn't know whether or not they wanted her to be face or be heel. She switched a couple times. Even her title whole angle with AJ Lee was just really weird, and just they dropped the ball. But it's different than with Alberto Del Rio, because you could argue that, hey, they just have a lot of great guys on the roster, and you don't really have time for somebody like Alberto Del Rio. There are, let's see, I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but I think I've gotten the number wrong a bunch of times too. So Charlotte, Sasha, Dana Brooke, Bayley, Nia Jax, Alicia Fox. You have 6 women on the Raw roster. You have 7 women on the SmackDown Live roster once Eva Marie comes back. Are you kidding me? You, and now, I understand. Yes, Paige has been out with an injury for some time. But even before that, what were they doing with Paige? This is the women's revolution. The women's revolution. And you have someone that's literally calling themselves an anti-diva. I don't care what she's like on Total Divas. I don't watch Total Divas. I don't know. No. I would never. But I don't care. I don't care if she has backstage issues. I don't care if she has backstage heat. I don't care. I don't. And this is me as a smart fan that reads the dirt sheets and the backstage reports. I don't care. You know why? Because WWE doesn't care. You want an example of this? Randy Orton. Clear as day. You want an example of this? Dean Ambrose, Stone Cold Podcast, recently. You know what? Lana. All of the heat Lana got. Seth Rollins' sexting escapades. Roman Reigns failing a drug test right when they're doing one of the biggest angles of the year in a Shield triple threat, which fans have been dying for right before the brand split when they literally can't do it again. And then he comes back, gets a title match, then gets another title match at SummerSlam. WWE doesn't care about backstage heat. Don't even tell me that they do. And yes, wrestlers get punished. They do. We see that with people like Dolph Ziggler that like to run their mouth in interviews and things like that. And then, oh, look who's jobbing again. I get it. I understand. But when it makes sense for the story, WWE will be the first ones to go, you know what? Yeah, they did that. And maybe they have some heat, but we're going to go ahead with this anyway. We'll punish them later or in some other way. Don't even. I don't care if Paige is, quote, immature. I don't. All I care about is the talent. I care that you're doing a women's revolution and there is a superstar calling themselves the anti-diva. She should be right there in the center of it. That's like having the Attitude Era without Stone Cold. I don't care if DX started it. The Attitude Era is not the Attitude Era without Stone Cold. And I'm not saying Paige had to be the Stone Cold of the women's division. I'm not saying it has to revolve around her. But it's kind of weird. It's just kind of weird when you're having all this talk about a women's revolution and Paige is right here, not doing anything. Not anything relevant, anyway. She's jobbing out. I mean, she didn't even have to chase the title. Have her feud with Emma again, which I think they were trying to do when she got injured, and her and Emma kind of got injured, I think, relatively close to each other, right? It's just, Alberto Del Rio is not as hard a pill to swallow because, yes, there may just not have been enough room for him on the card. Paige, on the other hand, had a place right there. She could have been right there in the middle, but WWE, for whatever reason, just didn't do it. So both of them have reason other than the relationship thing, which is a very deep. If what people are saying is true about WWE trying to get them to break up, that's in and of itself a good moral reason to go, you know what, I'm leaving. Because that's wrong. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying that, they're dirt sheets. These are dirt sheets and back news, backstage reports, whatever. But if it is true, that is one reason in and of itself to leave. But you couple that on top of the fact that these two have been misused horribly. And then you hear news, again, of Cesaro reportedly leaving after this Best of 7 series with Sheamus. Now, it could be a work. That honestly could be a work. And I'll go ahead and say that right now. But if there's even a kernel of truth in that, then you can't blame. You can't blame any three of these people. You can't blame anybody in this situation. Because these are talented superstars that deserve time, that deserve pushes, that deserve to be showcased as the talent they are. And it goes all the way back to CM Punk. And ultimately, that's one of the main reasons why he left. Is because, why kill yourself for a company that you're good, you're talented. They've even told you that they're talented. They've even showed you their faith in you before, but for whatever reason just isn't doing anything with you, makes empty promises when you return, makes you work hurt, and then just doesn't appreciate you in general. So honestly, it's WWE's loss. And Alberto's gone. He's gone. There maybe is still a chance to keep Paige, and if I were them, I would jump at that opportunity because Paige is a talent and she's young. Is she immature? I don't care. But has a lot of mileage left. She has things to do that she hasn't done before. There are angles that are just begging themselves to be shown on TV for us to see, for us to pay to see. Don't throw away a talent like Paige, but they're going to. I feel like it's a countdown now. It's inevitable. I feel like it's inevitable. I'm going to stop talking about it because right now we have what we all came here to talk about, which is the Backlash predictions. So I'm going to run through these fairly quickly because, honestly, there just isn't that much to say, first off, and there's not a lot of matches. I feel like matches are going to get added. I feel like they're going to add a Baron Corbin match. Am I the only one that doesn't care about Baron Corbin? I don't know. I've said this before. WWE in general hasn't really been showcasing a lot of their talent properly, but I feel like SmackDown in particular, I don't really care about a lot of people on SmackDown, actually. On Raw, yeah, I don't care about Braun Strowman. I don't care about Titus O'Neil at all. I could see myself potentially caring about Darren Young. Excuse me. I don't really care about Bo Dallas at this point. Again, I mentioned it in the live tweet on Raw last week that they could potentially have a program with Bo Dallas and Darren Young, which I think could be interesting. But SmackDown, there are a lot. I don't really care about half the roster, and that's from me watching every week. And that's just because they haven't been portrayed in a way that would make me want to care. But a match that they could add on the card is potentially Apollo Crews versus Baron Corbin, possibly for an Intercontinental Championship number one contendership, because I miss number one contenders matches. Am I the only one that misses number one contendership matches on pay-per-views, or that just on the weekly shows, but that actually matter, that actually make a difference? Because I really do. I really miss those. But anyway, on to the matches that are actually on the card. Let's talk about the Hype Bros versus the Usos, because, okay, the match card that Bleacher Report is showing me. Now, Bleacher Report's been wrong before with SummerSlam, but that was SummerSlam. SummerSlam was SummerSlam. So they have the Hype Bros versus the Usos. Then, yeah, this probably isn't the actual order. Because then they have Heath Slater and Rhino directly, right after that versus whoever wins that match. We have the SixPack Challenge with Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Becky Lynch, Naomi, Natalya, and Nikki Bella for the Women's Championship. The SmackDown Women's Championship, I guess I have to say now. I think they should have come up with other names, but whatever. You got Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. You have The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. And then you have Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Championship. I still think they should have kept that WWE Heavyweight Championship. Whatever. I don't care. Enough about belts. This whole month has been about belts. So first we have the Hype Bros versus the Usos. Now, I think it's a given that the Usos are going to win this. They just turned heel. They have all the momentum in the world. I've already talked in my SVR podcast that's already up on YouTube, hashtag shameless plug it shameless, about how I felt about their heel turn. I felt it was a little bit rushed, but ultimately I think they have all the momentum in the world right now. They're going into the tag team tournament final, and my prediction for this is that American Alpha somehow screws the Usos out of the championships, because you can't have the Usos lose clean. But I feel like the Heath Slater free agent saga kind of has to come to an end now. He's basically on SmackDown. It makes no sense to prolong the whole free agent thing. And they said he has to win the whole thing to have that happen. So I feel like it's an inevitable thing that Heath Slater and Rhino are going to win. How they win is up for debate. And I think it would be good to have American Alpha somehow cost the Usos the championship. That adds fuel to that rivalry. It's good to have rivalries that don't revolve around the championships, and it just deepens the tag team division. I think it'd be really smart for them to do that. Next we have the SixPack Women's Championship match. Now, this one seems obvious, but then it doesn't seem obvious. Because, I will go ahead and say that I don't think Alexa Bliss or Carmella is getting that championship. They're too green. They're too young. They have much, much, much more to learn. It's going on a veteran. So it's either Becky, Naomi, Natalya, or Nikki Bella. Everyone is saying Nikki Bella's going to get it because of Total Bellas. I really hope that's not the case. Please, WWE, prove me wrong. Please, 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 please. Please, don't do the obvious thing that I hate you for doing. Because I hate the idea of just putting a belt on somebody to promote a stupid show. Like, come on. Put the title on somebody who can carry the division and that is actually the best wrestler, or that can just generate good storylines. And honestly, I've said it countless times, I'm very outspoken about it. I don't care. I don't like Nikki Bella, period. I don't like her as a face even more. I can at least respect her heel work, but for whatever reason, she's a face right now. And I don't know why people cheer for her. I really don't. I don't know why they like her. Anyway. Becky Lynch, everyone wants Becky Lynch to win the title. I think she should win the title. If anything, I think she should win just because she's lost so much that it's become basically a joke in and of itself. That just Becky can't seem to win any matches. And I think if that's a storyline, it's a terrible one. If they're doing it on purpose to work an angle, it's a terrible angle. Because fans want to know, hey, why should I cheer for this person? And if you say, oh, because they're sympathetic and they lose all the time, that's stupid. It's a stupid decision, and I don't like it. But I digress. I don't think Becky's going to win this match, unfortunately. She can lose due to shenanigans. Hashtag Adam Blampier. She can even make it to like the final 3 or the final 2 or whatever. Now, in my opinion, I would love it. I don't think WWE is going to do it, but I would love it if it went to either of the dark horses, a.k.a. Naomi or Natalya. I think it would be very smart of them to put it on either of these women, because we wouldn't see it coming, and both of them deserve it. Natalya is a terrible heel. I'll just go on the record and say that. I think she's the terrible heel, just because I don't even hate her. She's not even a hateable person, really. She's just kind of annoying. Just her way of generating heel heat is to go, yeah! okay, that was a noise that you made. I don't really... Now, I like her more when she's like, you know, when she knows she's the best. Basically, I kind of like her when she's Kurt Angle. I like when she's more like, you know, I know I'm the best wrestler in this division, and I'm going to lord it over you. Instead of being, like, cocky and arrogant. I just like her kind of being, like, the hard-nosed one. Like a hard-nosed boss kind of heel. But apparently, if you want a woman heel, they just can't be strong. I don't know. Naomi is riding a wave of momentum, ironically, because of her entrance, of all things. Everybody knows that Naomi is the most underutilized talent in the women's division. She's so athletic, she's so good, but just has never really gotten a substantial push. Ever. So if they were actually to swerve us all and put the title on Naomi, I wouldn't even be mad. I don't think they'll do it. I think there's a better chance of them swerving us and putting it on Natalya. If I had to bet money, though, it would either be Becky or Nikki. I'm really hoping it's not Nikki. My personal choice is for Becky, but if I gotta be safe and go, what would WWE do? It's probably gonna be Nikki. Alright, so following that, we have Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. And, oof. WWE really kind of dropped the ball with the push for this, didn't they? I do not care about this match. And this is a match that I've actually wanted for quite some time. But it has not been built well, in my opinion. It has not been built well. And some people are saying that Orton's going to win because he needs to regain credibility from losing to Brock. You lose to Brock Lesnar, no one's doubting your credibility. It's Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is in a league of his own right now. If anybody needs to regain their credibility, though, it's Bray Wyatt. I'm going with Bray just because I don't know why WWE would choose to bury him again. It seems like they're finally going ahead with a plan for Bray Wyatt, and it starts with just racking up victims, credible victims, like Randy Orton. And I hope that it eventually leads to maybe a title match. I would love to see Bray Wyatt with a title to win the title, maybe. I would love to see Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. You know how great of a storyline that would be? To have Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Worlds, against the cowardly Miz that has been called out as a coward, and now he has to prove himself against Bray Wyatt of all people. You know how great that would be? And it would even... I could even see them like turning Miz kind of face again during, because they are kind of heels, two heels, aren't they? But I just think that would be a great program. It would be great storytelling, and it would even, you know, make us see, oh, there was a plan for all this all along. Because WWE is terrible at making plans these days. Maybe it's because they don't want to commit because people are getting injured. I don't know. It would make sense. But my pick is with Bray Wyatt for this match, and I wish I were more interested, but the build-up has not been good. Next we have Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, a match that we've seen many a time before, and I don't know why we're seeing it again here. This one hurts my heart. It really does. It hurts my heart. Because it does not make sense to take the title off The Miz right now. At the same time, why are they burying Dolph so bad? To where everyone is beating him these days. He does not look like a credible challenger at all. And if he magically beats The Miz for the IC title, okay, great. But then now you're squandering the heat that Miz has, that he himself generated on Talking Smack. This is classic WWE booking themselves into a corner. Either way, you're going to tick off one camp or the other. It's just... So, yes, if I have to pick somebody, I'm going to go ahead and go with The Miz. If Ziggler wins, I'd be shocked. The only way I could see them having Miz take the title is if they do some sort of double turn. But I don't think they're going to do that. People are not going to cheer The Miz. He's too good a heel. Alright, so now we come to Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles, and please, for God's sakes, put this title on AJ. Because, and don't get me wrong, I'm a Dean Ambrose fan. I like Dean Ambrose. But I think even Dean Ambrose fans have to agree that this title reign so far has not been the greatest. I think it's due to WWE not committing or really understanding the Dean Ambrose character and what makes him so great. Because WWE seemed to be resting on this thing of, oh, he's kooky and he uses props and he makes these weird jokes and remarks and you never know what he'll do next. Oh, look, he's playing in the casino and oh, look, he's getting his hair did. Oh, and look, he's got a big floppy hat. Oh, God. I mean, Ambrose has not been impressive in the ring. I feel like they're limiting him a lot. On the other hand, Styles has been able to do nothing but amaze in the ring. He's always great. He's coming off... I mean, they're a few weeks removed, but he just is still coming off they're really going to make me say... a phenomenal match of the year candidate, hands down, between him and Cena at SummerSlam, where we saw almost every trick in the book from these two. And now he's going up against Ambrose, who's been kind of stagnant as of late, especially in-ring wise. I really liked the last promo that they had last week. I still think that it's weird that this is now the second championship angle that's basically revolved around crotch shots, but I think this match will be good. I think this will be a much better match than especially the one that he and Ziggler had at SummerSlam. I think both he and Ziggler will have better matches than the one they had at SummerSlam tonight. But really this one, especially, Styles in big matches, he really is kind of replacing Cena. Because every big match Styles has had so far has been good. He's delivered consistently in big matches. So, maybe he'll take Ambrose to new heights in terms of his performance. I think having these back-to-back is kind of, maybe you need something in the middle there to kind of relax the audience, because we saw what happened at SummerSlam when you kind of burn out the audience, or if you have, we've seen before when two kind of big matches follow each other in terms of Miz, Ziggler, and Ambrose Styles. Just in terms of, I think these will be good wrestling matches. Especially the Miz-Ziggler match is going to be pretty much a straightforward wrestling match. Then you got a guy like Styles in the main event. I think it'll be a lot of really just good, fluid wrestling. Hopefully. And I gotta go with Styles. He needs the title right now. He needs to capitalize on this momentum. And honestly, Ambrose is just more interesting when he's in the chase. Some people are just a little bit more interesting when they're in the chase unless you change something. How many times have we seen the competitor that's chasing the championship, then they get the championship, and then there's a turn somewhere down their title reign. Like they either turn face or heel or something. Because unless you change something, some superstars are just better suited for the title chase. And I think Ambrose, at least right now, he doesn't have a lot more to his character. He can't really back up a lot of his claims yet in terms of, when people step into the ring with me, I take them to places they aren't ready to go, or I take them to their limit, blah, 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 blah. But have we really seen him do that? Not really. So until he's built up a bit more, I think Styles will serve the championship a little bit better right now, and Ambrose will benefit from being more in chase mode. So as far as Backlash, those are my predictions. Like I said, they're probably going to insert another match here. Maybe there's a return. Maybe we see, Kurt Hawkins tonight. I don't know. If they do insert a match, it's probably going to involve Baron Corbin in some way, shape, or form. The fact that Apollo Crews isn't on the card is a little weird, so they may put those two in a match together in an unannounced match, or even like a last-minute kickoff sort of thing. Again, I really wish it was for a number one contendership, but we'll see how it goes. I will hopefully be live tweeting this tonight, so be on the lookout at ATomiGazi. If I am not able to live tweet, I will be on the lookout for results, and I will tweet my reactions to them. So still be on the lookout on Twitter at ATomiGazi. And this Wednesday, I will be putting up another SVR podcast, so be on the lookout for that as well. And, of course, I will be here next Sunday for another Sunday Smack Talk. So until next time, guys, I'm your resident marksman, your professional psychopath, #future WWE champion, TJT, signing off.